Hi everyone, it's Sarah Lopez. I am your Miss North Quabbin Petite, and because of this COVID pandemic, since I can't do any in-person appearances, I've reached out to local businesses and organizations, and today I have Al from Red Apple Farm. Hi Al, how are you?
Good. How are you, Sarah?
Great. So yeah, let's jump into it. So can you just give us a brief background of, the farm when you started and kind of where everything's at right now?
Sure. So it's a multi-generational farm. I'm blessed and cursed to be part of a family farm. No, it's definitely a blessing overall, and it's been around since 1912, and so we've been over 100 years now. And my grandfather really is the one that focused and put the apple in Red Apple Farm, and really, and especially in the early days, were a lot of wholesale, and most of our sales were distributed to mom and pop stores, and then supermarkets, and eventually distributors, large distributors. And then my dad came back, and I came back to the farm when I was a kid, and real young. I was 11 actually, and my dad is the one that changed the farm's focus from a wholesale model to a retail model, and made a lot of big changes to really give us in the trajectory where we are now. My wife and I, in our at the time it was 3 kids, now 4 kids into it. We came back in 2001, and we really kind of just taken it from where my dad did on the retail side, and really tried to develop the farm to be a year-round apple farm, which is not easy if you're an apple farm in New England to be year-round. But we've accomplished it by both diversifying our products, and both the ones we grow and make, and then also by diversifying the locations where we are in the season. So we are kind of spread a little bit, but all for the goal of keeping the family farm going.
Awesome. So if you could describe Red Apple Farm in 3 words, what would they be? I'm assuming apple would be one of the words, of course.
Well, actually, you definitely would. We have a tagline. So when I saw that question that you had posed as what are 3 words, I could think of a lot, but I do like our tagline, and I think it kind of sums up what we are and who we are, and it's your family farm. So that's really kind of who we are, and that's what we want to be, and we strive to be. So we're blessed being here for generations. We have obviously my family's multi-generations that have been part of it, but there's been multi-generations of both employees and customers that have been part of this farm, equally, if not more so. We're really blessed about that. We always run into, and even some of our employees that are here now, you can tell them their grandparents have worked here, their parents have worked here, their brothers, their sisters, and so it has been many families have built this farm.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. So it's great that you said you're open year round. So what have you had to kind of adjust and change since, these closures have been happening?
Well, I jokingly say that farmers are used to doing things you can't control. Mother Nature is definitely one of them. But the interesting thing about the state of things now, and the whole pandemic is just that this is affecting everybody. So it's across the board. So how we're adapting takes into consideration not only our own concerns and things we must face here, but also our employees and what the customers are doing. So it's been a very fluid thing, and trying to figure this out. And but we've had incredible support by the public, and we've been very, very blessed by that, and appreciate that. Some of the tweaks we've done have been working, and we don't know what the future holds when it comes to pick your own and all that, but we'll continue to adapt. But to answer your question, early on, actually, very early on, it was actually our staff that made the decision to close our front doors and kind of pushed us into curbside pickup. And we did that early on, where it felt very uncomfortable to close the front doors to your business operation. And, back to being your family farm, we built this business on that premise that, this is everybody's farm, and you get to walk right in our front doors. So to close it, it was definitely a change. But saying that, it's been a very safe way for both employees and customers to come here, and it really pushed us to develop our online store. So we had one that was with one system, especially for for online orders for shipping them, and this really pushed us into having one where people can actually order. They actually can pay online, and you can actually plan your pickup time. So that's been actually a great adaptation that'll help us going forward to have that online store presence where you have pictures of our different products, and we'll continue to work on that. So it's, I think, like right now we're having a Zoom meeting, right? And I think it's, I know you mentioned you're working the school system, and my daughter's busy doing schoolwork, and so it is amazing that this happened at a time when we can make some adaptations and we can try to carry on. But I think we all do miss that human connection element that we look forward to happening someday.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, speaking of that, I've had this wagon token in my car for a little while. So, yeah, my partner, he found it, like, he was leaving somewhere and he found it on the side of the road. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to use this. And now I'm like, oh, when do I get to use it?
Well, I promise you they'll still be good. That will be the big question. And the new pick your own guidelines we're getting from the state, for us, it'll start with blueberries, but some farmers are going to be getting into strawberries soon here in the state. And so they are making it clear that no ag tourism related activities right now. And so, which makes sense. So there won't be any hay rides right now, but those tokens are worth a lot. So keep them.
Awesome. So with your online store, what have you found has kind of been like your best sellers? And, do you have anything coming up for like Mother's Day or Memorial Day or graduates?
Yeah, good questions. It is interesting to see what people always gravitate towards, and I would say our farm favorites or fabs that people love. They're always they always do well no matter when we're selling them, and that would be like our cider donuts and our honey roasted peanut butter, and of course our fresh cider. And actually, we have really good apples right now. We have both all kinds of Evercrisp apples and some Fuji's, and they're just so crisp this time of year. So it's nice to have a nice selection. But as far as one thing that last year we started making hard cider on the farm, and that's actually done really well through this whole process where people can order it and pay online. Obviously, they got to pick it up and show their ID. But it's been, you joke that economic downturns, people love their alcohol. But we all love our hard cider, and we really think it came out really well. And actually, a little historical point today, I don't know how many cases they were, but it took 5 of us to bring them into the store. There are our hot off the press growlers that have our printed logo, and it's actually really neat. On the back of the growler, it actually has 2 taglines. It's a collaboration with Moonhill, so we put on there that everything is better when neighbors work together, and it's very apropos on the days we live right now. And we had come up with that tagline, talked about it a long time ago, but it actually means a lot. And again, we hope someday we'll be able to have hard cider here with our neighbors on the premise. That'll be something to look forward to. So those are kind of our we do have, I don't know, I think Wendy said, who oversaw our store, we'll have like 1,200 products, believe it or not, that will eventually at some way be on there. But right now for Mother's Day, my wife Nancy's been extremely busy. I think she got in at 11:30 last night, just to give you an idea. She's been out there making fudge and getting fudge ready for Mother's Day packages. And 2 of the things that we've been doing that's been kind of fun is trying to do a little bit more of allow people to be a personal touch to a product when they get it here. So we did early on. I think you even said you got one of our bunny kits where you can make your own bunny fudge. And so for Mother's Day, we have these packages of fudge where it comes with a blank box, so you can actually color the box and put a little message on it, which is kind of fun. And then we also have instructions to actually melt the fudge, and also some caramel we're providing, so you can make your own fruit edible arrangement. So those are 2 kind of fun things for Mother's Day that we'll be featuring. But I think a lot of moms probably deserve a growler of hard cider for themselves.
Yes. Chocolate and cider. It's a great combination. All right, awesome. So I know you had mentioned, the cider, you have the cider room and everything, and there was some construction going on when I looked on your Facebook page.
Yeah, it's been actually really nice that we started that project before things really took a turn, and part of us moving forward was we had put a significant down payment, and it just kind of made sense, and the construction companies working with us for making it work so that we can pay it out over time and everything. So it's been great to continue with that project, but it's made everybody really excited because it's nothing like working on something for the future, and now more than ever you need to look forward to the future. I think that project has kind of cemented that for us. So we do know we're making a pretty big deck around the backside of our barn, which is the same side where we make the hard cider, and so there's a room. There's actually a room for everything. There's a room where we make fresh cider. There's a room where we ferment cider, and there's a next room attached to it that's going to be our tasting room, where we actually be able to down the road buy cider and drink cider and taste it. And so you can see all that right from the deck. Actually, you'll be able to see it through every window and see the whole process. And so it'll be a really nice area for that. And then for those that are familiar with the farm, we have an evergreen spruce forest that's kind of between two stone walls on the back of the barn, and a little bit of history there. Those were planted by my grandfather for Christmas trees that got a little too big. So they're really big trees. And but that area, we're going to call it the grotto, and we're going to have picnic tables, and so people will be able to actually sit down there in a quiet little area between the blueberries and the pond and the cider deck. So really look forward to that when that becomes a reality.
Absolutely. So we have, cider, fudge, some hangout areas when we can do that. And so my last question is, what's the best way for people to, look at the online store and kind of keep up with what you're doing so that when you do finally open, they know, where to find you online?
So we do have, obviously our website. We're actually working on at a big meeting today to try to remove all the cobwebs that are on that website. We have so many, so that'd be a great project we're working on now. Probably the best thing I always recommend people, if you're able to, sign up and like us on Facebook. Wendy and actually my son Aaron is helping out with that as well now, and we try to put the most pertinent information on there. Obviously that ties into Instagram as well. So I think that's probably the easiest way to get the latest and greatest. And actually we are by default now really only advertising through social media right now, because this is the state of things. It just doesn't make sense to do too much besides that. But it's been wonderful, and it's funny how we'll make a post that there's glazed cider donuts, which has been a hit, and that's a cider glazed cider donut. So that's glaze we make with cider. And they've been a hit, and they're hard to make. They put a lot of extra labor to glaze them. So we do have a limited time and a limited amount, but people do come and grab those, and we only let people know by social media, and apparently the word gets out, so they do fly off out of here.
Absolutely. It's the best free advertisement you can get.
Amen.
All right. So I will put up the slide at the end with all of your information, your address, your phone number, all your social media. But again, thank you so much, Al, from Red Apple Farm. Please, like and follow, because, it's free to like on social media, but that's the best way you can support. Make sure you're on their website so you know when those donuts are going to be back. But again, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. All right.